Hello everyone, this is Madhu from AdiYogiAyurveda. Before we begin, I wanted to actually let you guys know that there's a sale going on my website with my services at AdiYogiAyurveda.com, AdiYogiAyurveda.com. And I'm having the spiritual coaching and energy healing with my higher self. An aspect of my higher self is called Mahakali purification, and QHHT sessions are on sale. The QHHT is actually like 50% off, not counting the decimals. But it's I'm having a sale. It's for the Labor Day, so it'll go till next week. And I just wanted to let you guys know before I begin what I wanted to do. I wanted to share that before I begin the topic of conversation for today. Okay, so I've had like this major purge, which was like the video, the podcast before this. So I didn't share that on YouTube because I was kind of on a rant about the karmic issues that I've had. I had to get over. It was harsh, okay? It was, I think this was one of the most toughest. Other than the dark night of the soul, last 2 weeks have been one of the most toughest purgings I've ever experienced. And these type of ones only come like really once in a few years. And I've noticed that the energy is getting very intense. The purgings become intense. But this has been like a purging, but at the same time like this really heavy integration of energy. So I know I say energies compared to other people who say energy. I say energies because it's not just one type of energy that's coming in. There's different types of energy. That's why I call it the Ascension Energies, because energy comes in different ways. It comes in different forms. So that is the reason why I call it energies. But the energy that we are experiencing right now is just like so much of light got integrated. That's why we've had like this. Some people had it last week, some people had it this week, some people are just starting. But it was just an amazing breakdown. Like I had a breakdown yesterday. Oh my gosh, it's like the worst nightmares were coming up, and then it was just like gone. And today I feel like it has been removed from my memory. Yesterday I was so mad, and I'm like, this is trauma, this is abuse, that's how I was like, this is trauma, this is abuse. I was going on and on because it was so difficult. It's like literally the things that needed to go were just pulled out cold-heartedly. And today I was just like, I felt like I was so much, like I was pulling in light, like literally so much of light. I stood under the sun for a while, and I was so rejuvenated and recharged to the point where I was like, wow. Because the mood changed from the morning to the afternoon. If you noticed how I was talking in the first video and now, the previous video and now, it's like huge difference. But the topic of conversation actually is Uranus. No, I'm going to call him Uranus because it sounds like your anus. So, yes, I'll be mature. But yeah, Uranus. So, he was hanging around today. Like they just come in and go. They come whenever they want to, like different ascended masters or like beings of the light. So he was hanging around in the morning, and then he just like, I can feel their presence. Sometimes they talk, but I knew he was around, but I was just thinking in my head. Like before, I used to be very conscious of them hanging around, like all these different beings coming in and going. But now I've got used to it that I just ignore them. So it's like not ignore them consciously, but just I know that they're there, but I'm doing my own thing. So I was just cooking and thinking like like what I wanted to do, like job wise, or like what I really wanted to do, or just having these thoughts. And then one point I was thinking like, oh, the worst possible scenario could be in this situation. And then he's like, be careful what you're thinking, because there could be plot twists. And I'm like, wait, what? So if I pay attention to this, and if I think of this, what you're gonna do is give me the opposite? He's like, yeah, because I don't know. I think Uranus is in retrograde this time, right now, but his influence is very heavy at this time. At the training that you're receiving for the, to prepare for the next coming couple of years is part of this, where he is going to teach you like how to expect change and how to react to change. Like we all know the constant in this universe is change, but the true constant is the speed of light. Another corny joke. So in astrophysics, cosmological constant is the constant that they use in the mathematical formulas, and they use, usually the constant that they use is the speed of light because that stays the same throughout. So it's a corny joke, nerdy joke, but whatever. But anyways, so he's here to kind of help us expect unexpected changes. So what I've been taught during this purge is to be very attentive, especially be in the present moment, and be prepared for change, be prepared for plot twists. And like a person like me, I used to be very okay with changes, but now I'm very averse to changes, because I guess I'm more in my Taurus energy, because I have Taurus in a couple of places, and I'm trying to be more grounded as a person. And obviously the things that we had to go through in life, it makes us suspicious of everything. But and we just want to have like a stability. But the only way we're gonna truly have a stability in our life is when we pay attention to be conscious. That's what they're saying. Be conscious of the present moment. The present moment helps you experience life much more consciously, because you're not in the past, you're not in the future, you're in the now. And now is the most important moment. But while you're in the now, when you're paying attention to the now, instead of thinking all these things like I did while I was cooking, instead of paying attention to what I'm doing, I'm basically denying myself of having the stability of being in the now and being in the present moment. So when you're in the present moment, you're not pulled out of your thoughts when something like a plot twist happens. So, which is why you really have to what he's trying to say is have the mind be attentive, so you're not thrown off guard. So what the training is about is getting rid of all your fears, the fears of change or fears of the unknown, so that you're mentally prepared, more mentally relaxed in different situations, in different scenarios. So you're not like, okay, this happened, it's okay, let's fix it. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And getting stressed, which doesn't help the situation. So that's the kind of teachings that he's bringing. As he said, like to me, I was like, oh no, why are you here? Please go away. Because to me, it was like, it's like that annoying big brother type of a thing. So I was joking around though, obviously. And he knows that. But that's the kind of energy he brought to me. Because I don't like change, and But I'm getting used to it now, and I kind of feel like a couple of things like that happened for the past 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. 3 weeks. Complete changes to plans, and I'm like, wait, what? And all these surprises coming up, and things I never even thought would came up. So it was kind of surprising, but at the same time I see the point of it. It's just hard to find stability when there's a lot of change going on. But I think what he's trying to say is, or what he's trying to teach is, when you pay attention, instead of being in your head or spaced out, when you pay attention to the now moment, you are experiencing your now. And then whatever comes to your now moment, you're better prepared to face it because you're living in the now. As opposed to if you're spaced out, let's say you're walking and you're spaced out and you're not paying attention and you slip and fall. That's a plot twist. If I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but that's an example. It's like, in cartoons they show a person like whistling and walking down the street and slips on a banana peel, like that. Like, basically just pay attention so you can expect whatever is coming, because for the next couple of years, this is the pinnacle of, and that's the word that they gave me, my guides and the beings who are here, including Uranus. They said this is the pinnacle of the Pleiadians gave that word. Okay, so the pinnacle of ascension is now, and the pinnacle is not just like 1 or 2 days, weeks, months. It's Earth's transitions are usually like in years. So because Earth has a 26,000 year cycle, and there are galactic cycles, universal cycles, so there's different types of scenarios that we have to take into account on different cycles. So things go rather slowly. I know that human life is very limited in years, but before, the human used to live longer, so they didn't really feel like, oh my gosh, it's happening so slowly. But yeah, this like the next 3 years, especially like next year, 2020, 2021, 2022 are like the pinnacle of ascension, because now it's that time where things get a little bit tougher, because the game is now on. It's kind of like you're getting a little bit more challenges because you're now more enlightened, more aware. So they want to, like, this is like for me, they said this is the graduation. So you have to go through all these tests to pass the university, right? Just like that, they're going to test you, and I've been getting so many tests. And so it's like we're being trained right now, because we are here to help people to go through all these different changes and scenarios that's going to happen. And it's not the most drastic way, but if you're unaware of what's coming, let's say, even if it's a simple event, so even if it's a simple thing, humans have this natural tendency to react to change in an adverse way because we don't like change. So which is why we have to learn as light workers to be okay with change, so that we can assist others and have more of a clear head to make better decisions and to lead people out of these scenarios. For example, okay, so let's say if there's a political situation in a country, for example, if it changes if it changes, it becomes something like a stress factor to people, because people are used to having a calm and a quiet political scenario in that country, for example, in a certain, some countries, or example, for like in some countries, maybe they never experienced a flood and a flood comes. So they're stress factors, but they're part of the changes. It's not going to be drastic as imagined before, I really don't think it's going to be at an apocalyptic level. But the earthquakes are getting stronger. I've been following earthquakes since last year, and they've been increasing very slowly. And now they've increased a little bit more more. So the next 2 years, there's going to be like more increases, but at the same time, it's not going to be like the entire earth is going to go kaboom, It's going to be like one area, it's going to have that effect. And then the land changes will slowly take its place, and then another area will have different stuff. So it's not like everyone's going to die and oh my gosh, it's not going to be like that. It's like whoever is here know what they're supposed to do, they know their life contract. So people who actually die are people that was their life plan. That's what they plan to do. They plan their exit. We all have our exit plan. Like when we have done and we have completed what we came to do, we leave. So just like that, each and every person have their agreements. Like, okay, I'm going to do this much. Okay, and especially the people who are not going to ascend. And they're like, okay, this is what we decide to do. We're going to go and have this experience somewhere else. So there's nothing to panic, like, am I going to die no. Just pay attention to your guidance. And what Uranus is teaching is having that calm, that grace under fire. That's the phrase I'm getting right now. Grace under fire to handle these situations so that you don't do any self-destructive actions, but do something that is constructive to help yourself and everyone else around you. So that's what he's teaching right now. Although it makes me feel uneasy. I feel like we've had enough experiences, and if we do have any fears around anything, it's gonna really give certain plot twist for us to really get over that fear. So it's really better to surrender and face the fear head on, so that test is done. I've noticed that when you decide to face the fears head on, the fears usually dissipate. And if you have those fears, you can also make sure you're not suppressing it and just release it. But another thing I wanted to mention is that we're going from Kali Yuga to Satya Yuga. The transition period, I did this in a video last year. Not this channel, I had another channel which I deleted. The transition period is called Sandhya. In Vedic terms, Sandhya is the term for dawn. So Sandhya is the dawn in the morning, and dusk is also called dawn. I mean, the same term, Sandhya. Morning, afternoon, mid-afternoon, noon, and dusk. All three are called Sandhya because they're the transition periods. So that is what is called the period that we are in now, because we're in that transition period from Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga to Satya Yuga, which is we're right now in that pinnacle. So by 2022, it's kind of the transition will begin slowly into Satya Yuga. Nothing just comes to full bloom overnight. Even, for example, I'm being brought to thinking about the Civil War in US. people had the war, and then they had to transition from, they had to recover from the war, for example, and they had to clean up and they had to rebuild. So it's like after everything, there's that transition time. You know, people have to go home to their families, count, like, you know, see who, if these, you know, if the land belongs to that same person anymore, and all these things. So all these scenarios are going to be taken care of, and they have to rebuild and restart. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm just giving a scenario for you to think, use in your head to think and get the logic out of it, so that, you know, you understand that nothing happens overnight and it takes a period of years. So the full on Satya Yuga will be like most probably on around like 2076. That's what I'm being told. So until then, there's going to be that change over. People are going to be, you know, bringing in all these new things, new technologies, and people have to adapt to that. New schools, new teaching environments. So they have to come up with new teaching methods. All these things, like, you know, medical industry is going to change. Everything is going to change. So, and everything takes a while to evolve. So that's what it is. But anyways, but yeah, we are experiencing major change of dimensions, of going from old Earth to new Earth, going from patriarchy to a more matriarchal society. But it's not going to be like women ruling. It's going to be more or less equal. A very, very, very beautiful type of partnership. How do I know this? Because I've seen my past lives before, when Earth was like that, and women at that time were more empowered. Like, they were respected, they were empowered, but at the same time, like, men were also equally manly, powerful, but more very loving, very kind, loving, protective. It's a very different scenario from what we see, and we have to, obviously, the human kind have to overcome trauma and all these type of things that they had to go through. So this healing, everything will be taking place until we're going to be fully on in the Satya Yuga, like really properly complete establishing Satya Yuga into 2076. That's what I'm getting right now, as of now. But anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for joining for this podcast. This is Madhu from AdiYogiAyurveda. Don't forget to check out the services. And if you are looking for twin flame coaching, it still goes under spiritual coaching. You can just let me know what you are looking to get. So thank you, and I will talk to you next time.